Every single job I've had before becoming an influencer served me in some way or another and is currently helping me out with my career as an influencer right now. My first job ever was actually a CNA. My first job was when I was a senior in high school, and I actually was working in a caregiving home. I was working in a memory care unit, and I only did this job for about maybe 4 or 5 months before I was like, I need to get out. I have so much respect for caregivers because it is a very demanding physically and emotionally job. I remember feeling like a mom at the age of 18. It was just so much work, and I would get like emotionally attached to these people, and then if they would pass away, be so incredibly sad. It just was something that was really hard for me to see, especially people in like their last days and they had dementia, and it was just like kind of sad. I just feel like I carried all of those emotions with me. And I remember my best friend at the time, her mom worked at Costco in management. Because of that, she quickly helped me get a job at Costco doing front end stuff, which basically is pushing carts and packing boxes. The thing about me is I was such a hard worker. As a caregiver, I put my all into it. When I was boxing boxes, I put my all into it. I always had a smile on my face, which is funny to say that about myself, but that's truly what I was doing at the time. I was really excited to be making money and have my own money to spend. I didn't come from like a lot of money, so having my own money and like spending it on a camera. I remember I bought a camera when I was working at Costco. Saved and saved, but we'll kind of like get into that later on. I saved for this camera and I bought it with my money working from Costco. I was noticed by the manager who worked in utility, which at Costco, utility is like during the day where you're stocking the floor, you're driving forklift, you're stocking things right after closing shift, but you're not like working through the nights or anything. Because of that, he hired me onto utility and I started stocking the floor during the day, and basically you're there to like help people out when they're looking for products and items on the floor that they can't find. After doing that for several months, I remember I was like able to become a forklift driver. So yes, at the age of 19, I was a forklift driver for Costco, and I did that for, I think I worked at Costco for almost 2 years. And I have nothing bad to say. Costco paid well, they had amazing benefits, and I was treated really well. At the time, I started dating a guy who was going to college at Oregon State, and I say dating, but really we ended up getting married, and it didn't work out, but I followed him to Oregon State. I don't know why I did this. I actually ended up taking classes at the community college there, and then eventually I went to dual enroll. So I went to Oregon State and the community college that was nearby, and both of the credits would go to Oregon State. So technically I went to Oregon State, but it was much cheaper working. I remember I worked on call as a dental assistant. Oh my gosh, and I skipped that. I skipped that part. I was a dental assistant before I met this guy. So I went to school for dental assisting. It was like a 9-month program. And then as soon as I got out, my internship actually hired me right on. And I think it was because at the time I was a very hard worker. I worked at this dental office as an assistant for a little over a year before like I was dating this guy, and then I followed him to college. While I was in college and while I was like dual enrolled at this community college,